Hi folks, Rob with Oddball ORV. In today's video, I'm going to show you a really cool new product that we have. It is our FL350 RZR seat pan. So we just got this in. This is actually our second prototype. We made a few changes. You can already see that I have a RZR seat in here. This is what it looks like. Now, why would you do this upgrade? Well, if your stock seat is old and fading and cracking, we do have aftermarket seat covers and stuff that work really, really well. But if your seat is just a little uncomfortable and you want something a little more newer, then the RZR seat from a Polaris RZR is a great upgrade to it. You got a lot more padding and it kind of hugs you a little better. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to install this seat pan. So this is it. It comes in 16 gauge stainless steel. We may have a couple of different gauges, a little heavier gauges for people that are heavier, but this should do pretty well. One important thing is that when you get the seat pan, you got to remove this backing on the back here. So I'll show you real quick on another clip. Okay, so this on the back here, this is used to on the laser cutter to help it cut better. So when you get it, you got to just pull this plastic off. It comes off kind of slow. Just keep on pulling it. Just like that. Now this is actually the heat shield. This protects the seat from the exhaust pipe, so you'll see this a little bit later in the install video. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take out the existing RZR seat. Again, I already swapped this out with the first prototype. This is the video you're gonna see is our second prototype, which is probably gonna be our final production version of this. All right, so the way to get the seat pan in is you're actually gonna do it from underneath. You could try and place it in top, but there's actually kind of a lot of cables and wires and stuff in the way. So it's actually better to do it underneath. So I already have the pan put in here. Now the pan, the orientation is such that the three holes, so you can't really see here, but there's three holes, 1, 2, 3, that goes towards the back. So don't get yourself confused and get it in there the wrong way. It actually goes towards the back. I'm going to reposition the camera again just so you can see me slide this in a little bit better. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and slide the seat pan in. So I'm going to lift it up here. I'm just going to raise it above the top two front rails here, and it just slides on back like this. Comes on back, It fits like a glove. This one fits a lot better than the first prototype, which is nice to see. Now you'll probably want to come as far back as here, and the mounting bolts that you want to use, we don't supply the mounting bolts. They're easily sourced at any hardware store, and just to keep your costs down, you guys can purchase those as you need them, or you might already have some around. So, but you need 8mm nut or bolts. You need 2 washers, and you need the nut. All right. So you're gonna take your bolt, 1 washer like that. You're gonna stick it up through the hole here. Take the next washer, stick it on top, and then put the bolt or the nut on and tighten it down. You don't want to tighten it down all the way just yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to find where the position is best for this. So I'm going to move this around a little bit. Move this forward. All right, for the other side, I'm going to stick bolt up to there. The washer on it, put the other washer on it, bolt that on. All right. Now, on this back one here, it's going to be a little bit trickier just because the way that the frame, it expands. And so it might be a little bit tight to get it through. I have to pull this over a little bit. But it should pull over just enough to get started. And of course, when you cinch it down, when you cinch everything down, pull this bolt in. into position. Might make a little small modification on that, just so it's a little easier to work with. All right, so that should be that. And we'll come back and we'll get this thing all cinched down. So here I have my my heat shield, and I'm going to just bolt that on real quick. So I did loosen up these wings just a little bit, give me a little bit of play. I do have an aftermarket pipe, and it does make things a little bit tight, just kind of where the things stick out. But hopefully this should be about right for you. You have to play with it a little bit. So that just bolts in there, and I just have two bolts here, bolt and nut. Just come on through like that. Just get that threaded on. Just like that. This nut's a little bit tight. Come over to the other side. Okay, and the purpose of this pan here is just to give your seat a little bit of protection from the exhaust pipe down at the bottom here. So the next thing is we're just going to tighten everything up, and once it's tightened, then we can place the seat in here. So the next thing is we got to get 4 bolts ready for the seat. So if your seat didn't come with any bolts, it's 1/4 inch by 20 pitch thread, and there's 4 of them. So if you look on the bottom, you have, make sure we see all this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and make sure you actually test to make sure that the bolt that you have is actually going to thread in nice and easy. These are not metric bolts, they are standard. Again, they're 1/4 inch by 20, 1/4 by 20. So make sure you have those ready to go. And the next thing, we're just going to get the seat put into the machine. Alright, so putting the seat in, pretty easy. Just make sure you don't hit anything. Should slide right on in. It should sit right on down. Right there, just like that. And grab my bolt and start pulling it down. Just like that. I'm going to come around to the other side of here and do the other 2 bolts. At this point, I don't even have them hand tight. They're just on there, but they're loose. Now you can see that I can move the seat back and forth to the extent that I need to. Move that forward. The seats, the belts on the back, you kind of want to have wrap around like that. So you may have to play with the belts back here. But yeah, so kind of figure out where you want it. Put mine kind of right there in the middle. Make sure it's straight, and then I'm going to get a wrench and just tighten it down. Okay, make sure the seat belt's all nice and positioned. I'm going to go ahead and just buckle all this stuff, keep it out of the way. I think that's probably about where I need it. I'm just going to take the impact driver and just cinch her down. All right, well there you got it, folks. Got our RZR seat in. It's looking real nice. Everything's lined up. So, real pretty simple install job. Hit a few little pauses here and there as I had to get things together, but pretty much a bolt-in solution. And you got a little bit of protection back there on the heat shield against the hot exhaust pipe and everything. So again, this is our FL350 RZR seat pan, and if you want to pick up one of these for yourself, head on over to the website at oddballorv.com and take a look for it. Thanks for your time again, folks, and we'll see you in the next video.